Over the past few weeks, we saw some people lose their minds over the cancellation of Stephen Colbert's Late Show. And this is not just a situation of him getting fired. No, the entire show that's been running for decades and decades on late night television has been canceled. And as much as people wanted to try to pretend it's about politics, he made fun of Trump, that's why this happened. Well, I regret to inform you, he's still going to be on the air for another 9 months, something like that. And he's slamming Trump more than ever. The reality is that just like a lot of late night shows nowadays, Stephen Colbert was hemorrhaging viewers and hemorrhaging money. The reality is this show lost $40 million a year. That's why it got canceled. It's not censorship. It's not anything like that. It's just, quite frankly, that a lot of the people that are running these current late night talk shows, like Stephen Colbert, have driven half the audience away with their incessant political talking points. That's the truth. That's the reality. And now Jay Leno, host of The Tonight Show for years and years and years, has something to say about this as well. Jay Leno criticizes modern late night comedy for alienating half the audience with partisan politics. That's what has happened. That's why all these shows across the board have been hemorrhaging viewers, have been losing ratings, because they stopped making it about entertainment. That's what people wanted from these shows. They just wanted to laugh. They wanted to forget about things for a while, crack open a beer at the end of your workday while your kids are in sleep, your wife's on the couch with you. You're just sitting there and you want to laugh at something. You don't want to constantly be preached to, but that's what these late night shows have turned into. Jay Leno rips late night hosts for alienating half the country. The 75-year-old reflected on his time as the successful host of The Tonight Show for over 2 decades and why his loyal audience stuck around and came back for more, while contemporary hosts just seemed keen on alienating half the country. Fox News reports the pair agreed partisan politics simply gets in the way of keeping an audience engaged and, crucially, laughing. Here's the exchange that was had in this interview. I read there was an analysis done of your work on The Tonight Show for the 22 years, and your jokes were roughly equally balanced between going after Republicans and taking aim at Democrats. Did you have a strategy? And Leno responds, it was fun to me when I got hate letters like, Dear Mr. Leno, you and your Republican friends, and well, Mr. Leno, I hope you and your Democratic buddies are happy over the same joke, Leno recalled. And I go, well, that's good. That's how you get the whole audience. And then he would go on specifically to criticize, and I don't think this is just pointed at Stephen Colbert, it's just in general, all the late night shows that are around right now. To me, I like to think that people come to a comedy show to get kind of away from things, you know, the pressures of life, whatever it may be. Now you have to be content with half the audience because you have to give your opinion. I love political humor, don't get me wrong, but it's just what happens when people wind up cozying too much to one side or the other. Why shoot for just half the audience all the time? Why not try to get the whole? I mean, I like to bring people into the big picture. And, you know, Jay Leno has been vocal about this at this point after the failure of these late night shows. And I think The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is just the first. I think eventually all of them are going to go down the drain. And his was the tallest midget in terms of ratings, but what it cost to produce the show just wasn't worth it. $40 million a year loss for them. Like that is wild. That is absolutely insane. Of course, they would cancel the show if it's losing you $40 million a year. But maybe even more appropriately than Jay Leno, let's go to the guy before Jay Leno. Let's go to the great Johnny Carson. And when he was asked decades and decades ago why he didn't get into these types of things, here was his answer.
Do you get sensitive about the fact that people say, he'll never take a serious controversy?
Well, I have an answer to that. I said, now, tell me the last time that Jack Benny, Red Skelton, any comedian, used his show to do serious issues. That's not what I'm there for. Can't they see that?
But you're not...
Why do they think that just because you have a Tonight Show that you must deal in serious issues? It's a danger. It's a real danger. Once you start that, you start to get that self-important feeling that what you say has great import. And you know, strangely enough, you could use that show as a forum. You could sway people, and I don't think you should as an entertainer.
I mean, this is Johnny Carson years and years and years ago, saying something that probably a lot of these late shows could have taken into account. Because that's what's happening here. For over a decade, They have been incredibly one-sided with their political talking points, and it's no longer about entertaining people. It's about appealing to about half of the audience that only wants to hear that. That's it. They've become political talking points as shows. They become propaganda. They become platforms for that, instead of just entertaining people and trying to make them laugh. That's all people want from these late night shows, and once they stopped getting that, they tuned out. They looked for something else to entertain them. And now Stephen Colbert is going to have to look for something else to entertain him because he no longer has a job. So I guess figure out something to do. I'm sure he'll be fine. I know that with that $40 million loss a year, I'm sure Stephen Colbert got paid very, very handsomely for helping to ruin late night television. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.